Hey guys, it's Gabriel Gibson and aaronmerges here with Lifehousecircle. We're here today to talk to you about a couple of tips that will allow you to avoid a lot of headaches and be more profitable in your real estate investing business and career. We also want to talk to you about a couple of mistakes that a lot of newer investors will tend to make and how you can avoid them. To begin with, when you are buying a property to buy, fix, and sell, you want to absolutely make sure that you are buying the property correctly, which we'll talk to you a little bit more about here. Secondly, the mistakes that a lot of newer investors make will tend to be, one, buying a property on speculation based on what it might sell for down the road, based on any number of factors. You want to make sure that you're buying a property today in today's market and what it could sell for today. Don't make the mistake that a lot of investors make and buy a property that's based on something that's supposed to happen down the road. When you're more liquid and you're more established and you have time to hold on to a property, and that's something you can consider and we can talk about. But in the initial stages of your career, you want to make sure that you're buying it correctly today based on today's standards and sales prices. Secondly, a lot of newer investors who just are hungry for a deal, they will try to force the numbers on a property, try to force to make the numbers work, trying to budge, trying to kind of smudge on the repair budget, but you want to make sure that you're doing it right and you're buying it right. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that in the video.
So, how do you know if you're buying a property right? The three essential elements you need to consider when evaluating a property are, number one, the after repaired value. That's the value that it's going to sell for today, and it's based on facts. It's based on what's going on the ground right now, not what Zillow says or what Trulia estimates it to be. Number two, you need an accurate and detailed repair budget, an update budget. That is what's going to be required of the house to get it up to that sales price. And thirdly, any other variables or factors that are going to go into the project.
So regarding determining a property's value in today's market, I highly encourage you to find a way to access the MLS, or multiple listing service, as a lot of realtors use on their day-to-day basis. If you can't access it directly, develop relationships with realtors who are glad to help you in determining what a property's value will be, and make sure to reward them for their efforts and counsel. You want to make sure that you are looking in your radius around the property you're considering. A quarter mile is good, a half a mile, sometimes a mile, or even the same subdivision is ideal if you can find that. Make sure you're comparing properties that are about the same square footage, about the same bedrooms and baths, and of course the same approximate year built. These are absolutely important factors to consider in determining what you're going to be able to sell your specific project for. You also want to make sure that you're evaluating the repair and update budget absolutely accurately to the best of your ability. You want to first of all focus on the 5 major systems of the property, which will generally be where most of your expenses are generated, and then any other factors that come into play as a result of updating or anything fancy bells and whistles you might want to throw into the property.
So when you go and inspect a property and evaluate it for your repairs, if you ever come across a time when you have a question, or maybe you just want a second opinion on something and you need a hand, give us a call here at Lifehousecircle. Gabriel and I are happy to talk to you about the property, our experiences, and maybe even give you some insight into it as you're making an evaluation on your investment. When you go out to see the property, the 5 essential components that you must inspect are the foundation, the roof, the heating and air conditioning systems, the plumbing, and the electrical. After you've gone through these core components, look at the kitchens, the bathrooms, all the other inside elements of the house to see what kind of updating needs to be done in order to get it to that after repaired condition, the condition that you've already seen on your step 1 when you've evaluated your neighborhood and your properties, so you know exactly at the end of all this how much it's going to cost to fix it up, repair it, update it to get it to that point. When you've got this number, I think you'll have a very good sense of whether or not you're in a good situation or perhaps you need to walk away from it and go on to the next one. There's one other thing you need to consider, and Gabriel's just going to touch on it briefly, and these are any other things that might pop up along the way during this transaction.
Yeah, a lot of newer investors, including when I first started many years ago, they tend to consider that how much they could sell a property for and how much they could fix it for are the only factors that come into the equation. Not exactly accurate. If you need to borrow money or use hard money to do your purchase, that's going to come at a price. It's going to come at an interest that you're paying to whatever lender or investor is investing in your business. So you want to make sure that you calculate those costs correctly. We'll be glad to talk with you about how to do that when you reach out to us here. And secondly, you want to make sure that your closing costs that you pay at the title company, both on the purchase and the sale of the property, are included in your entire estimate. So you know almost to the penny what you're going to need to make a transaction happen profitably. Anyway, we just want to take a few moments to touch on these basic factors when you're first getting into your real estate investing career, and as you begin to do these more often and get around people who have done the same thing and have the experience that can they can share with you, you will get better at it, and it'll start to be just second nature for you. So anyway, go ahead and like our page at www.lifehousecircle.com. Send us an email if you have any questions, or give us a call, okay? We're here for you. We're here to serve, and we'll be glad to talk with you soon. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Bye.